guys. This week on the podcast, the Dive Tribe podcast, I've got a very special guest. I've got someone near and dear to my heart. We got Kevin Murphey. And if you tune in, you're going to learn a lot about the zombie apocalypse and stuff like that. But I just wanted to introduce him a little bit for those that don't know him. He's our course director, one of our course directors here at International Scuba. He's a tech instructor trainer, and he's also a public safety diver instructor trainer. And let's just talk about how you got where you are.
Well, I started diving when I was in high school. I was about 16 years old. I'm a little older than that now. So I've been in the dive world for about over 40 years now. I worked as a public safety diver. When I was a public safety diver, I became a instructor, and I had different goals. I said, oh, man, diving is great. Just like we all think, diving is great. I'm going to retire to an island, and I'm going to work at a dive shop and this or that. So I said, well, what can I do at an island? So I said, you know what, is I can get to the top course director, which makes me a better employee because I'm going to go to work at an island. You know that. Even before I retired, I said, oh, man, I can't wait. I'm going to move to Belize. Belize is cheap to live there. They have this, that, and the other. Well, things change, don't they? So after I became a course director and was shooting for the island life, things happen. Your life changes. And now I'm a course director here in Texas. And that's where I'm at. I've been diving for 40 years. I've been a scuba instructor for 25 years. We have, over the years, have gone and learned tech courses. Remember, there for a while, it hadn't been the last, I think we've kind of, since COVID, has kind of shut down. But there for a while, we were going every year. We picked a course and a location to go to and take a course. We have never stopped learning. And we've done that. Now we're tech divers, we're tech instructors. We enjoy that. My public safety stuff is still ongoing, even though I'm no longer employed as a public safety diver. I still teach public safety. I enjoy that. I like teaching that class, and I like teaching.
Well, I think you and I have the same thing in common, is we just love diving, getting together with the guys and gals and doing stuff, new stuff.
Right.
I mean, I've known you for quite a while. I can't remember when we met. It just seems like it's always been part of it. But I remember you telling me stories of going to Possum Kingdom and sleeping in your car and then diving. And how old were you at that time?
About 17.
17, okay.
I would drive to Possum Kingdom when I got out of school on Friday night, and I had a Ford Ranchero. So it wasn't even a pickup truck. And I had that Ford Ranchero, and I drove to Possum Kingdom to the parking lot of the dive shop. And I had this, it was in the 80s, early 80s, like in 81, 82. And I had this giant TV. But it was a box about this big and about this, and I would get in the back of my truck, but the screen was only about like this, and it's black and white. And I would park in that and sleep in the back of my truck in the open, completely open, to go diving on Saturday and Sunday. Then I would drive home, and that was the diving lifestyle back then in the 80s.
Well, you're a little more high tone now. You like to sleep in a camper, but you still like to go out and you'll dive anywhere.
If it's air conditioned at night, I'll go. No more sleeping in the open air in the back of a truck, for sure. That's for sure.
And we've dove some crazy places. We've explored a mine. We've explored the Super Collider.
Yep.
We just went and explored a new quarry the other day. So we're always diving, and I appreciate that about you. You're always up for, I asked you to try side mount, and we went and got into side mount, and Kevin's so supportive. I'm trying to learn how to do it and really serious about it. And he would sit in the pool, lay in the pool videotaping while I'm practicing. And one time I looked up and he had fallen asleep underwater. but that's just how it is. We do stuff together. We've got some great experiences. It's always pretty crazy. And one of the nice things I feel like is we always have new folks joining us and creating that added flavor to the group, and the story gets richer every year.
Right, it does for sure.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. I think everybody's got to know you a little bit better, and we're going to get on to the main topic of the podcast. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dive Tribe podcast, episode number two. So you didn't scare us away the first time. We're coming back and see if we can up our game a little bit. Today, I have Kevin Murphey with me. He's a course director with us here at International Scuba. Kevin, tell us what a course director is.
A course director, a PADI course director, is a person that teaches instructors how to teach scuba diving. That's what a course director does.
Teach people to blow bubbles, right?
That's it. We teach people how to teach people to blow bubbles. That's basically it.
Sounds like a serious job.
It is a serious job.
No, seriously, talk about some of the things that people will see you around the store. What you're doing with the instructors.
What I do with the instructors is kind of mentor them, bring a dive master to the instructor level, get him up where he's familiar with the ins and outs of the PADI system, the standards, how to teach standing up, how to teach in the pool. We teach how to evaluate at the lake, and we just groom them to get them to learn the PADI way to do it. The PADI system is what we teach. So we get them to where they can teach open water classes, and then we also teach them how to teach specialty classes. No, you don't always want to be stuck teaching open water. Let's teach some specialty classes. Let's teach navigation or buoyancy class or wreck class or a boat diving class and stuff like that. So course director also teaches instructors how to teach other courses also. Get them up to the open water level, and then we can teach them how to teach other classes and be successful instructor.
So I'm assuming as a course director, you need to have a pretty good handle on the standards, PADI standards. Is that true?
That is correct. The easiest way to teach a class is follow the standards. There's no reason to deviate from the standards.
How do you make sure you're following standards?
Well, the first thing you do is, no matter what class that you teach, is first you prepare to teach the class. You look at the standards. Standards is like, for example, how many people can you teach in this class? That's a standard. That's a ratio. That's a standard. And that's what we're talking about. How deep water does it need to be? How deep is it, or does it need to be shallow? Those are what we call standards, and that's
right.
what you teach within. There's a boundaries that you teach within.
And we talk a lot about teaching classes, and we're always trying to up our game with the way we teach our classes. And one of the things that we talk about a lot is taking the class beyond what's on the page, right?
Correct. You can teach and just open your book and say, you're going to do this, kind of a robotic type instructor. Well, let's go beyond. And I teach my people, my students, my new instructors, how to teach beyond that. And I teach them that, and then I teach some classes that I enjoy teaching, and we even go a little bit beyond that. If you're going to teach, let's teach. Let's have our students come to us and have a good time. Show them a good time. Have a good time. They have fun, and that's what diving is all about.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard to explain the way you take a class beyond the page here, but you are known for that. I think anybody out there that's taken a class with you knows when they show up, it's not going to be just the regular class. And one of the first examples I always think of with you is when you teach your search and recovery class. So give an example of some of the things you do in that class that are in the book, but you've taken it to the next level.
Right. Well, search and recovery is, let's make it realistic. And I've taught my instructors how to make it realistic. And when I teach it, let's not look for a 2-pound weight that someone put in the water. Hey, what's realistic? Somebody's going to lose their mask and snorkel. So let's look for a mask and snorkel. Let's look for stuff like that that's realistic. Let's make it fun. Let's when we lay lines, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Let's look for stuff that's a boat motor. Let's not just put a weight belt. Let's have maybe a little scenario type thing. Hey, I was driving down and my boat motor fell off. I just saw that on a YouTube video. You seen that video? 2 gals in a boat cruising through the lake, and the boat motor just falls off. You would never think that's happened, but let's have fun doing it, and maybe talk about that video. And hey, my boat motor. Now, can you help me find my motor and stuff like that?
One of the things I liked that you did was you're always looking for unique objects. So you're not looking for, like you said, like the boat motor. Or one time you found a large safe.
Yes.
It was a big safe. I mean, it was so heavy it broke the dolly trying to roll it down to the water.
Yeah.
And there was no key for the safe, so you couldn't open it. So you drilled holes in it so the water could get in. And the best part was when we finally got it in the water. I mean, this thing was, I don't know, maybe 500-600 pounds. Well,
It flattened the tires on the dolly when we pushed it off the trailer, and it flattened the tires on the dolly.
It floated. It floated.
We finally got it in there. We could have definitely used that for a rescue buoy,
The final insult was there was like a 8-year-old kid that jumped on top of it and rode the safe like it was a surfboard. So that was fun, unexpected. But another thing you've done that's really cool is you'll have them recover an object that has nothing to tie on to.
That's exactly right.
And so they spent at least 45 minutes or an hour trying to figure out how to tie a knot that would raise this barrel with no handles on it. And that's what search and recovery is all about. I mean, we've done so many recoveries together. Having the tools is important, but it's like a puzzle to figure out the way to get stuff out.
Well, part of the class is called search and recovery. The recovery part is, how am I going to get it out of the water? How am I going to get it up? How am I going to get it to the shore? And how am I going to get that in my truck or on my trailer? That's the recovery part. So it's search and recovery. So you teach the whole course. It's not just finding it and putting it in your BC pocket and bringing it up. It's let's recover it. And
Right.
some things that we recover are, have you ever recovered a fire hydrant underwater? That's a little bit tougher. That's the finding it's easy. That's the search part. Recovering it, a little bit tougher.
Right,
And that's
right.
what we teach in the class.
Well, I think your search and recovery class is definitely a good example of the things that you come up with. And I know, like, all year long you're looking for stuff for that class. And so an interesting class, something you're really becoming known for here, is the zombie apocalypse. And that's coming up pretty soon. That's going to be October 28th. Is that correct?
28th, Zombie Apocalypse, October 28th. It's a Saturday.
So you started working on the zombie apocalypse the day after last year's zombie apocalypse because you had ideas, right?
I work on zombie almost every single day, to be honest with you. Either doing something, looking for something for zombie, or thinking about how I can improve the class. Almost every day I do something for zombie.
So people out there, you may have heard of the zombie apocalypse class, probably made fun of it. I know we did. The first time I heard about it, I think we sat around the bar at DEMA cracking jokes about what are they going to come up with next. And then we took a look at the program, right?
Right. And with the program, you learn a lot of parts of an advanced class, part of skills. You do learn some search and recovery. You learn some navigation. You're actually the course is set up where you're learning a lot of little pieces of a lot of classes that you kind of get to try is what it is.
Yeah, so we've got this manual. This was written by a gentleman named Woodrow Tinsley, and he's a PADI instructor. And not only did he come up with the great idea of using a scenario to teach skills, he put a lot of time into materials that incorporate sign language and lots of different skills, and it's a pretty cool class. Let's talk about some of the things you learn in the class.
So when you come to the class, we actually have a component that we meet before the actual dive day, and what I'm going to do for you is we're going to learn some stuff in the classroom, and this is what I would provide you if you were a student. You were my student. This is what I would provide you, and just some of the things that we're going to learn on this little cheat sheet. And you can see in class, we're going to learn some navigation, some knot tying. We actually learn some digital photos, some digiphoto. So if you're interested in digiphoto, you learn a little bit of how to take digital pictures.
So how does photography fit into a zombie class?
Well, I don't want to tell everything because you need to know what's going there, but you may or may not have to photograph a crime scene or something like that. That's how it could fit into a zombie apocalypse class.
In the scenario, something like that you're researchers or something?
Well,
like
there's
that?
different scenarios, but the thing is what I'm going to teach you in this zombie class is, let's say you went to Cozumel this coming weekend, and you arrived there. You got off the plane, you go to your resort, and guess what? Now it's taken over by zombies. I'm going to teach you with these skills how to survive in a zombie apocalypse and live. Hopefully you live.
Right.
If you, and that's what it's about. We're gonna as if we are in a apocalypse situation, and you may have a scenario where you're going to use some of these skills, and you learn these skills. You use these skills while you're there, and you probably will have to evade some zombies, some evasion techniques and stuff like that.
Well, and using the zombie apocalypse, it's not something new. Like I was listening to a show about how the government was trying to get people to train for emergency situations and to make it fun and interesting. Because the zombie apocalypse is, well, we basically lived through it, right, with COVID.
Yeah.
So it's more realistic than we thought. So it's just fun to have. There's nothing wrong with making a class fun and having a little fun while you're learning. I think the scenarios and the storyline keep it interesting, right? It ties together things that wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Right. So what you do is you come Thursday night before the class, before we go to the lake, and you learn some skills. I teach you some skills, and you practice those skills that you're going to use when you actually get there on Saturday. When you arrive on Saturday, you're in a actual environment, apocalyptic environment. We have scene dressings and stuff like that. We could show you some pictures. We might have one picture that we can post, but I don't want to give too much away because it is better that you not know. And when you arrive, you're a little bit surprised on how the scene setting, how it's set up and stuff like that. We work a week, 3 to 5 days setting up the dive site for this particular class.
And it starts when you get in the park.
It starts when you get in the park. Definitely starts when you get in the park. The scenes are set, and it is definitely an immersion. You're the totality of the circumstances when you arrive that you have to deal with.
So a little background about Kevin is he had a haunted house for many years that he would set up at a high school. It was a professional haunted house, and y'all raised money for the scuba classes for the at-risk youth, right?
We did.
And it was a big deal. I went one year, and it was really very realistic and scary. And you've kind of taken that love of that and put it into the zombie. So you are entering the zombie. You're walking. You're going to be like on the set of The Walking Dead. That's what it looks like.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not quite, but we're not. But we do our best. We do our best.
It's gotten very realistic. The last time it was unbelievable. I mean, people, even people that aren't taking the class are coming out to see what's going on because it's
right.
You've created a zombie world.
It's definitely an event, and people do when they see how we're set up, just driving by at the lake, and they just drive down the road. It definitely turns heads how we're set up, and they do come over and to see what's going on. Yeah,
right. Hey, you've kind of created the War of the Worlds sort of experience with broadcasts going out and sound effects and one of the things we've been working on. You came over here and we've been playing around with it out at the lake was underwater sound effects.
Right.
And so that's kind of been the new wrinkle that you're adding in this year.
Right. So we try to add stuff every year, and we have, and I don't think we'll ever get it to where exactly we want it, but we keep adding stuff every year. And this year we've added more. We have more. Now we have some more audio stuff to go along with what's going on.
So how many people do you think can participate this year?
Probably we fill up the class. You need to have we doing buddy teams, send you out in buddy teams. Probably about 8 to 10 people is the max that I can do on one day.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to.
That's a lot of work for 10 people. So if anybody that's thinking about it, you may want to call and get signed up ASAP. We're about to announce it. This is kind of the way we're going to let people know about it. But so 10 people. It's going to be a big event. People come out just to see it. They bring their kids out to see it. And we wanted to add some more to the weekend because it's kind of a big weekend. So we incorporate our Halloween stuff along with it. So later that evening, you've got a new thing set up. What do you got planned for that?
Right. So after the zombie, what we're going to do is we encourage people to come out and let's have a whole weekend. Let's it's going to be cooler weather at the end of October. So let's camp. Let's camp out. Let's bring our tents. Let's decorate our tents. Maybe for Halloween decorations and stuff like that. Maybe have some door prizes and stuff to get people out there. But one thing that we're going to do when everybody comes is we're going to do an underwater haunted trail. So what's going to happen is the flashlight technology has really advanced out there. Now we even have underwater UV lights. So what I'm going to do is give you a underwater UV light, and I'll have an underwater UV light, and we actually have this. We have glowing line.
Nice.
So this actually glows underwater. What we're going to do is this. You see how the UV light?
I see it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to have this line. You're going to get in the stairs, right down the steps, you and your buddy. The light that you will have is these two lights right here. And you can see it puts out a UV, and that's the light that you'll have. That's the only light that you'll have.
It's not very bright.
It's not very bright. But it fluoresces stuff underwater. It fluoresces this line, this glowing cave line. It fluoresces. So you and your buddy are going on a haunted night dive. So all you have to do is take your lights and follow the line. You may or may not, I don't know, may or may not see something spooky. If you see something spooky and you pee your wetsuit, it's okay in diving, right?
I guess so.
So we're gonna have a little haunted night dive trail. Starts at the stairs. You and your buddy just go around the trail and come up. Little fun activity is what we're gonna have.
Yeah.
You know, some people diving at night is a little spooky in itself. And if you add the experience of glowing stuff underwater and stuff like that,
Right.
have a real good time.
Very good. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It will be fun.
That's the 28th. We've got, I'm not sure, what's the participation level on that one?
You know, whoever wants to come out and do the haunted night dive, it's not a course. It's just something we're going to have a good time with. Just come on out and do the dive. You and your buddy come out, or we'll find you a buddy. You don't even have to come out with a buddy. Bring your tent. Let's cook out, whatever you want to do there, and let's do a haunted night dive and just have a good time. Is what it's.
It's good for all ages, so
it is good.
Anybody 10 and above can participate.
Right.
So that's going to be Saturday. We got a full day on Saturday, but on Sunday we're going to do our traditional underwater pumpkin carving contest, and you can also get certified as an underwater pumpkin carver. And that's another one that people kind of laugh about, but you know, there's some good lessons to be learned in it that everybody's surprised every year. What are some of the takeaways from the pumpkin carving?
Well, if you've ever tried to carve a pumpkin on your front porch or your patio or your kitchen, you know it takes a little bit of experience to do that. Now take those skills that you learned there, trying to cut a little triangle out for the eyes and stuff like that, or how elaborate that you want it. And now take your pumpkin underwater where other things come into factor, like buoyancy. You know, pumpkin floats. So how am I going to hold that pumpkin and carve it underwater and stuff like that? And the real pumpkin carvers, I'm going to say, I'm not going to put anybody down, but the real pumpkin carvers carve their pumpkin underwater with a dive knife. Not these little saws and, you know, put stuff on. Real underwater pumpkin carvers use dive knives. I'm just saying.
Well, we've got two categories. So we've got one for real divers with the dive knife, and then we've got them the open category where you can use your creativity for people that are creative and use props and different tools. You know,
right.
Using a screwdriver and a hammer can create some unique things. We've had people that had a giant fish hook that they put through the pumpkin's mouth, and so you can be really creative. I think we even had a Mr. Potato Head pumpkin one year.
But the thing about underwater pumpkin carving is it's a course. You just don't throw your pumpkin in the water and carve it. We teach you how to control the buoyancy and how to carve a pumpkin underwater. And I can give you some suggestions and some tips how to make your pumpkin look better than other people's pumpkins. I mean, it's stuff like that. Just how to trim it and how to cut it and the proper way to do that stuff like that. So it's not just carving a pumpkin underwater. It's also a course that you take and you learn to do that underwater. It's a two dive course that you learn to carve a pumpkin.
Now, is it true that you learned some of these techniques from Martha Stewart?
YouTube.
Okay. You know, one of the cool things I saw that from the class, I'm just going to give a little tidbit away, was, you know, the top, right?
The top.
And it always falls in or whatever. And so you've got like tips for, you cut it in so that it doesn't fall in, but it still shrinks and it doesn't look right.
Right.
So the cool thing that I learned was, why not just cut out the bottom where nobody can see it? The top looks perfect. You set it down on top of, you know, you can put your candle on the lid and so that was a great tip, I thought.
Right.
And you don't see many people do that.
No, you don't. But it's a viable option. So the way that you design it, how you want to do it. You cut the top, the bottom, all kinds of different ways to carve a pumpkin. It's not one way.
We've had some very, very competitive pumpkin carving contests over the years. We had one guy that he just dominated with a scalpel, and he spent every bit of time. I think it's about an hour and a half you've got to complete your pumpkin. He spent every second of it. He brought it up, and it was unbelievable. But he came back 2 years later to defend his championship, and he did it in the dive knife division. And I think he searched all over to find a knife that was really sharp, like a stiletto knife. Right. And then he went and he carved something even more intricate with the dive knife than he did with the scalpel, which I thought was funny.
There's definitely people that come every year, and sometimes there's a few people that's the only time they come out during the years to defend their title of pumpkin carver.
Well, and I know one year we didn't have very many people that participated in one of the categories, and so they, even though they weren't experts, they came home with the coveted trophy.
It could happen.
Yep.
It could happen.
So they're trophies that are given out, no participation trophies, only for winners here.
Right.
But we do have trophy for dive knife division and then for the open division. So you may want to start thinking about that now. If you want to take the class, it's a fun little class. We'll be opening that up pretty soon to do that. I think almost everybody that's ever won was a certified pumpkin carver, though. They got the tricks to learn how to put it up over the top.
Exactly.
But you don't have to take the class to participate, and you can show up with your pumpkin. We carve the inside. We take the insides out. We clean them, just because the amount of time down there is we're limiting it to an hour and a half. So we want to clean the insides out, but that's as far as you go. You can cut your lid or whatever you do, and then clean it out. Once we finish that, we always have a bunch of people out because everybody comes out. If they're not diving, they come out just to see what they created. And we have our chili cook-off. So our chili cook-off is very popular, highly contested. We have people that have brought chili recipes every year. We've had one person that's tried to win with multiple, from regular traditional chili to a white bean chili, and then they brought like a Thai chili. We've had a lot of different types of chili. It's always really good. And that takes place right about noon. And you just bring out a crock pot with your chili, and we don't judge. We judge, but we don't discriminate. So if you bring out some kind of chicken chili or white bean chili or whatever, or beans in your chili, we respect you, and whatever tastes the best, we vote with our spoon. So everybody gets a spoon. They get to taste all the chilies, and you put your spoon where you think it's the best chili. And we have the very coveted Witch's Cauldron that we give out for the chili. And the people that have won that are very, very proud of that.
I like beans in my chili.
You like beans in your chili?
I don't like it too hot. And I like beans in my chili. And I like the white chili, the chicken chili. That was pretty good, too. I think that won one year, though.
It did win, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like taking my chili and first taste it all, and then come back for the second, and that's when I had the cheese and the Fritos.
All right.
First taste, not too spicy. I like beans, so if you want to put beans in your chili, that's perfectly fine.
I think if you could work Dr. Pepper into the chili, Kevin would probably vote for that. Dr. Pepper Zero, though. That's
Dr.
his...
Pepper chili. That's something right there. That's something.
So that's October 28th and 29th. We're going to have the zombie during the day. They'll actually have a pre-class that's a couple days beforehand.
Right.
So we'll have the classroom for the zombie a couple days ahead of time. Then we'll have our night dive with the ultraviolet lights. So we'll have the lights. They don't need them.
We have the lights.
Yeah, we're not using white lights. So your normal dive lights, we're not going to be using that. Everybody will be with the black lights, and it's going to be a really cool experience. I think everybody will like that. And then people can camp, decorate your tent.
Decorate your tent. I got some raffle prizes, door prizes, a few little trinkets here and there to give away if you participate in that. And dress up. Hey, it's Halloween.
There you go.
Halloween. There's no reason you can't have a Halloween costume. We may have some zombie blood refreshments, something like that, some frozen zombie blood.
Nice.
Along those lines. Maybe potluck, or, everybody brings some hot dogs. We'll cook over the grill or the fire and stuff like that. Should be a good weekend. You can come Saturday and stay till Sunday and have a good time.
Perfect. And we've got the pumpkin carving, so just bring your pumpkin. If you need help cleaning it up or whatever on Saturday night, we can give you some advice on that, and then we'll start the class. I think that starts about 10 o'clock is the class start. The dive starts at 11, and then the chili will be at noon.
Sounds good.
So it's going to be a big weekend. A lot of people are kind of shutting it down in October, but we're going to keep it going. So everybody keep your gear out. Make sure you get signed up for the class. Make plans out there. If you got a camper, RV, make sure you call and make reservations early, because with this event, it's going to bring a lot of people.
There are a lot of people. Last year we had she's actually a scuba instructor, and she came from Hawaii to participate in the zombie event.
So that was the furthest that's traveled.
That's the furthest it's traveled. She came all the way across the Pacific to the zombie apocalypse. She came all the way. She had a good time. She wanted to know what she could do to take that back to her dive shop, her shop.
Well, I have heard that there potentially may be some TV crews out there if everything goes according to plan, the weather's right, and they don't have some sort of catastrophe or whatever. But there's been some interest, so come on out if you like to get on TV. There's a potential that they may be filming some stuff to show the rest of Dallas what crazy stuff we do as divers.
Good. We'll have a good time. Guaranteed fun. Guaranteed.
That's for sure.
Guaranteed.
Well, Kevin, I really appreciate your taking the time out to come and sit in with us and talk about the zombie and introduce yourself. We're going to have you back as a regular guest. Kevin and I do a lot of crazy adventures together all the time, so just stay tuned and you'll see us do something crazy. Coming up at the end of this month, we're going to be going to the Blue Hole in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. We're driving out there on, I believe it's the 25th, and we're going to stay out there all weekend. It's an interesting place to dive. It's at altitude, so you can practice your altitude diving. It's also really deep. It's 85 feet deep, crystal clear water. It's artesian spring water coming up, a couple million gallons a day coming out of that. And it's on the old Route 66, so it's always fun to do a road trip. There's nothing like getting together with a bunch of people, diving all day, and then going to some old diner on Route 66 where they still have all the neon and stuff, and then we swap lies all night while we're having dinner, and it's just a great bonding experience. On the way back, we always stop at the Big Texan. If you don't know about that, it's a very famous steakhouse, and they have a 72-ounce steak, and so we're hoping one of our divers will participate. If you eat it in was it an hour or is it 2 hours?
I think it's an hour.
An hour.
60 minutes, I think.
Yeah, eat it in an hour, then it's free. So we're challenging you. If you think you can eat 72 ounces of steak, we need somebody from the dive tribe to get up on the wall there at the Big Texan. But anyhow, that's it for today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Check us out on YouTube, International Scuba Dive Tribe. We've got our Instagram account. We got Facebook. On Facebook, we have International Scuba. We also have the Dive Tribe. If you're wanting to keep up with our diving activities, Dive Tribe is where it's at. We've got lots of people it's just a big community of divers. We like to share diving together. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.